Hey, welcome back to Meet the Masons,
your millennial marriage coaches.
Thank you guys for joining us again.
Absolutely. So, you guys, today we're going to talk about 3 different ways you can motivate your spouse.
Yeah. 3.
Right. Just 3. I'm not going to put 3 points in one like the last video. Well, we're doing it again, y'all. Nonetheless, in your marriage, your spouse should be your #1 cheerleader, your #1 supporter. And we know that doesn't always happen. And sometimes we just don't know how to motivate one another, right? Mm-hmm. I think within our marriage, we did a pretty good job at naturally motivating one another. But as we grew and as, you know, over time and going into different endeavors, we realized, well, this is what I need to feel encouraged, you know?
And then sometimes, like you said, naturally motivating each other, that's great. But if you're actually not motivating one another towards an intended goal, it's like, yeah, I motivated you, but you accomplished it, but that's really not important. That's not a value that we share. Right. So that motivation now focusing in to make sure that motivation is towards a goal, a common goal, something between both of you.
Absolutely. It makes a difference. So we're gonna go ahead and get right to it.
Yeah. #1, get results.
Yes.
And that is she's already having fun with it. Getting results. Because a lot of times you can be busy work, busy this, busy that. Oh, I straightened up the house. Did you clean it? Well, I organized. Did you do this? And I'm talking about for both of us, not like you ain't the only cleaner here.
Exactly.
I clean more than you do.
Keep going.
All right, but getting results, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned a little earlier, we have common goals. So one of the things about cleaning, for example, let's just start there, because is that clarity. So one thing with cleaning is it actually helps you have a refreshed home. Like we have the Refresh Your Home series and stuff like that. But when your environment is clean, it helps you to think clearer. It helps you not to be cluttered mentally, because your outside is a representation sometimes of what's going on the inside. And then the next C was cash. Is when you're getting results and you have a business idea, or you have something like a campaign that you want to run, or whatever the case may be, and you actually get paid from that. It's like, hold on. You bringing in money? How did you bring in another 500? How'd you bring in another 5,000? Now you're excited, like, hey, that's motivational. That one idea that I thought was random blew up and it's successful, and we're living on that. Or the one idea that you had was random. Yeah. And it's like, hold on, let me actually pay a little bit more attention to these different things. And that really shows that you care. And as you care for them, that actually leads to #2.
You ain't gonna let me talk about #1? Let me talk about #1, y'all. So, period. Like, you need to get results. For men, we were watching something by Felicia Kelly, I believe. Hey. And phenomenal. But phenomenal. We just gonna put y'all on. Felicia Kelly, y'all gotta watch her. But nonetheless, she was saying how men want to see their women, their wives, you know, get results, and that motivates them to want to continue to motivate them. If that makes sense. So like if Jared sees me, you know, I have this grand idea, because as entrepreneurs we always got 1,000 ideas. But if Jared sees me take an idea, go forth, people's lives are changed, or I'm getting lots of money from it, that's like, you know, that motivates him to want to say, hey Kiara, keep going, you know. But if you keep like having all these ideas and you get no results, your spouse doesn't want to trust you with yet another idea. Right. You know, so, you know, you have to make it a point to get some results, and that, you know, that helps you in your marriage.
One thing that she mentioned with that was not only is it getting results, because it's not all about the money, but if you put it in the perspective of, hey, you're getting results, but you're coming home saying, man, I hate this. I'm tired of this. Oh, this is so overwhelming. Like, I just can't stand it anymore. Hold on. This is that dream that you've been talking about for so long, and you finally out there living this dream, and you talk about you can't handle it. Oh, this is so frustrating, it's so overwhelming. So from a defender perspective, my goal is to protect you, whether that's financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever case may be, protect you in all the ways that I can. So if I know something is heavy for you, my job is to jump in and help lift that weight. So if you're saying your dream or your goal or your ambition is stressful to you, they don't want to push you in that stress. They want to take you out of that and protect you. So don't come in with results and complaints at the same time. Yes, you have things that you might complain about, or some things that you have obstacles mutually and challenges, but address it as a challenge, and only bring it up if you're willing to have a solution. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I just want to vent, you should just hear me out. And there is place for that. But when it comes to business, that's not the place for that. It's not the place for it. No, we need solutions.
Exactly.
So let's get these results.
So on to number 2.
Yeah.
So number 2 is prioritize your spouse. When they feel like they are important within the marriage, then it's easier for them to support you, and you guys will support one another.
Yeah.
It's hard for someone to support you if they feel like they're undervalued by you. So, you know, if you're saying, oh, I'm all about my business, I want to do X, Y, and Z, your house a mess, your kids a mess, your spouse a mess, like everything is a mess, but you going about yourself. No, that's not how it works in marriage.
Right.
We're prioritizing God first and foremost, making sure that we are doing everything as unto Him, and then we're honoring our spouse, and then we're taking care of our household. But if your spouse doesn't feel honored, then it's hard for them to want to, you know, feel motivated to push you into whatever it is that you're called to do. And
one thing, and I know I throw business in a lot because we do business.
Yes, we do business. I know everyone doesn't, but
that's just relative to us. But no matter whether it's a job, a business, an idea, a side hustle, whatever the case may be, if you got this new thing that now is getting all your attention and your spouse is no longer getting your attention, now you're prioritizing this new thing over them. So imagine, me and Kiara are married. We don't play games when it comes to houses, spouses, spiritual stuff. It's just not. We don't play that. But for an example, you have Steve and Stacy. If Steve and Stacy are married, and Steve meets Susie at work, and he comes home talking to Stacy about Susie, she'd be like, who is Susie? Don't be coming in talking about some girlfriend or some side chick. It's not happening. But the same feeling comes into play when you have your business that you're putting in front of your spouse, or when you have your job, or when you have your hobby or your favorite game that you're putting in front of your spouse, and you're prioritizing that video game more than that time with your spouse.
Right.
Stop playing.
All right. Nonetheless, prioritize your spouse. Ask them, what is it that you want? What is it that makes you feel special? What does it make what can I do to make you feel like you're number one in my life? Of course, outside of God. And then be careful to actually attend to that thing. You know, there are times where we've had those discussions like, babe, I want you to do this more, X, Y, and Z. And sometimes I met the mark and sometimes I didn't. And he had to bring it up again and again and again. But that's what marriage is. You do what it takes. You're willing to be perfected, but you do what it takes so that your spouse feels prioritized in your marriage.
And then you participate in what you know is important to them. And then once they actually get whatever that case may be, you're happy that they got what they wanted. So don't be like, oh, you finally got it now. It's like, no, I'm happy that you get what you want, because if you get what you want, you're going to pour that back into the other spouse to help them get what they want.
Exactly.
And number 3 is build up your spouse. We always say life and death is in the power of the tongue. And we talk a lot. But as you're talking, are you speaking life or death into your spouse? Because if you speak life to them, that's going to motivate them. So you have to build them up with your words. You have to speak well of them, like literally, oh, you look great today, or you're doing great on this, you're doing great on that. I'm not saying give foo-foo compliments.
You know, let it be
genuine. Let it be genuine, but be engaged. And as you're speaking to them, make sure you're lifting them up. And then also, don't just do it just between y'all two. Speak well of them in front of others, because your personal life should be a mirror of how it is in private and public. At least that's our opinion. But sometimes it's hard to be that same person depending on, you know, what you decide to do in public. But once you transfer, hey, these compliments that you give in private, give those same compliments in public, it's a totally different experience. Like, if I bring home flowers and give them to Kiara, she's like, oh wow, that's so nice. But back in the day when you used to work in the office, if I send flowers to the job, that's totally different. It's like, oh my goodness, she don't even like flowers like that, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that it was done in front of other people, it just gives you like 10 times the impact. So if you're going to speak well of them, definitely do that in private, but also do it in public. Whether it's social media, whether it's at an event that you're going to, whatever the case may be, make sure that they know that this is who you are. And if you only do it on one side, they'll call you out. Because if only when you're in public, they talk nice of you, and then in private, you talk trash about them, it's like, hold on, you fake out there. But you got to bring it from the back of the scene to the front of the scene. And then most importantly, after that, secondarily, I would say is don't allow your spouse to talk negatively about themselves. Because if you're going to do all this work to speak well of them in private, all this work to speak well of them in public, don't allow them to go around talking about themselves. And that's one of the things that, like, for me, I'm a passionate type of guy. But if Kiara talks about herself, I take it equally as if somebody else is talking negative about her in front of me. And you can't just come over my house and talk crazy about my wife and expect to stick around for long.
Because words are powerful, no matter whose words it's coming from. And especially if you love your spouse and you guys are one, like, I don't want Jared to have a low esteem of himself. Like, that means you have a low esteem of us because we're one. And it's like, I want you to be built up. I want you to be confident. So in the beginning of our marriage, I was just very... naturally, I think we're just naturally hard on ourselves. And so I will vocalize those things, and Jerry's like, absolutely
shut it down.
Like, no, you're not gonna say that about yourself. So that radically changed in the beginning of our marriage, and it doesn't happen anymore. But it's so true. Like, you really have to be careful of how you are building up your spouse, and you know, just let it be genuine. Or when you notice things, I think a lot of times too, if you're naturally a person that doesn't speak up a lot, this could be challenging. But when you see things like, wow, my husband did laundry today and he doesn't normally do that, acknowledge it. Say, wow, babe, I'm so thankful that you did that, because I was, you know, I had that on my list to do and you took care of it for me. You know, just being mindful of little things. And when you recognize good things are happening, don't just keep it to yourself. Let your spouse know.
And do the same thing, because sometimes, you know, you're doing laundry and your spouse does laundry. You're like, babe, Kiara, you done did some laundry today. I'm so thankful.
He trying to act like, you guys, in marriage, we've been married for almost 7 years. So it's just like, you know, our roles change. You know, in one season he cooked more, in another season I cook more. It's just so funny, like, seeing it change. So now that it's changing, he's trying to act like he always been doing laundry, and you know that's not the case.
Really? Now let's do a quick rabbit hole. Quick rabbit hole. I've done laundry more than you. You know why?
No, you have not.
I got some details for you. You know, I remember everything. When we first got married,
we have no washer and dryer.
Right. And I was unemployed. So I was going to the laundromat.
That was only during that time. And then when we moved across the street from my cousins,
before we go to
I took that laundry over to their house.
Before we go to the next thing.
And that was a senior.
Was it not true that I was the one at the laundromat? That was me.
During that point in time.
Now, there's also times where I will go across the hall too. I'll get the key under the mat. Boom, go in there, watch the loads. You weren't the only one.
Mostly.
Hey.
Nonetheless, guys,
at the end of the day,
let's speak well of each other.
We got clean clothes on. Let's leave the dirt behind us.
Jared is the chief ironer, though. I will say that.
I'm the chief ironer?
Yeah, you are great at ironing clothes. I do not enjoy ironing clothes. But
no, I have been washing a lot of clothes, though.
You have been lately.
And I've been washing a lot of dishes.
We ain't gonna get on dishes, y'all. We better cut this video.
Right. Yeah.
But nonetheless, guys.
So just tell them what you've been up to.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
What you been up to?
It's already long.
Huh?
We share that task in this season.
You got it here right here.
Oh, sorry.
Hold on. Yeah.
Nonetheless, we share that task in this season, and that's not what we're here for. Basically, you know,
so
guys,
when we work together, we do a really good job at washing clothes and doing laundry and dishes.
Exactly. Work together. You know, find ways to motivate your spouse. That's what this is about. You know, if you want to have a long-lasting relationship, you gotta have and develop a partnership with one another.
Right.
And you have to build each other up. You know, because work can get hard. You know, marriage can get hard. Raising kids can get hard. But when you guys are unified together, it makes it so much easier. So.
And it's always good to have fun. Like, obviously we're joking around.
Yes.
But tease your spouse sometimes. I don't say make fun of them and pick on them.
Right.
But it's fun to have like inside jokes. Because we know our laundry situation. 98% of our laundry is clean right now. 98%. Minus what we got on. And what we just took off.
But nonetheless, we're not here to talk about laundry.
Hey, you know.
Nonetheless, we love you guys.
We let our laundry out in front of the people. That's what it is.
We love you guys.
I don't understand what this is.
I don't know why I do this, but
yeah,
we do. Nonetheless, that's it, guys. We could be here forever. If you guys
are you saying we're all washed up?
Yes, we're done. Nonetheless, if you guys didn't know, we do have a purpose. Well, by the time this video comes out, we'll already be in the course.
Yeah, they can sign up for the next one.
Yeah, so sign up for the Purpose Partners course.
Yeah.
We're going to be covering money, marriage, motivation, and making love so that it can refresh your marriage to walk in greater purpose.
Yes.
And
your purpose is beyond just doing laundry and dishes.
exactly. It's so much more than household tasks. Nonetheless, yeah, that's it. We're going to make this video way longer than it needs to be. And we love you guys. So we will see you later.
Right.
Bye.
Peace. Hasta luego.